Welcome to the Creatives Rule the World podcast. It's Tracy Matthews here. I'm so excited to be here today. It's been a while since I've actually done a solo episode. And I'm excited to be here today to be talking about something that I'm calling into my own life and that I am here to support people in for the 2026 season, calling it a season because we are ready to freaking go. And it's all about overflow and all about calling in abundance, all about riding the wave. Now, I'm not sure if you follow Chinese zodiac or astrology. And when I rebranded the podcast in the middle of last year, my vision for this podcast had been all about really tapping into who I am at the core, not necessarily as a business coach, but the part that's a little bit woo, the part that is really smart and strategic, and the part that is all over the place in this creative force of nature that is, wild and ambitious and like doing all the things. I wanted to bring all of it to you. And so in the Chinese astrology or zodiac, whatever you call it, I don't know exactly, but this last year, 2025, was the year of the snake, which is all about the year of shedding. It's shedding the old patterns, the old beliefs, and everything that is limiting you from stepping into your fullest and highest potential. And I am on a mission for 2026, which is the year of the horse, to bring people along this ride of a journey where we can step into that space of just going for what we want. Because if you think about horses, my stepmom raises horses, and when a horse is in the field or when a horse is fully expressed, a horse will just go off and run, right? They will go on a full sprint because that's what horses are designed to do, right? Is to run and ride the wave and to keep going. And, I'm having a visual of like Chariots of Fire right now. I don't know if anyone ever watched that movie. I think it was in the 80s where they're running down the beach and the stallions are running at full speed and continue to go. Well, this is the energy of overflow. It's about limitlessness. It's about stepping into that full expression of what it feels like to be an artist, to be a creative, to be someone who gets paid not only for their ideas, but the beauty that they bring into the world. So whether you're creating something like a piece of jewelry, or you're creating something like a painting or a piece of art, or you're someone like me who is multifaceted and is an artist and also a coach and a mentor and a strategist and doesn't like to be defined by just one thing, right? This is the year that creatives get to thrive. This is the year that creatives get to step into overflow. And if you want to play with me along this ride, well, I just want you to know I am here for it. And I'm so excited to share with you some things that I've been working on for a very long time in the background of what I've been doing, right? This last year has really been a year of experimentation for me and stepping into like, where do I stand in the world? What am I here to be doing? And how am I going to jump off the roof as a 6 in human design and really step into this season of me being the leader that I am designed to be? I'm so excited to talk about this because when I've been really stepping into creativity and the frequency and the energy of creativity and what that frequency means and what that energy really provides for people, it's something that creates life force. And when I say life force, it's like, our second chakra in our energetic system is like the center of creativity, right? When it's out of balance, a lot of things go sideways, right? We feel closed off. We don't have ideas. Like we're having a hard time putting ourselves out there. But when it's fully expressed, you cannot turn it off. We are in our full vibe, our full feminine, if you're a woman. And feminine energy is great for men and women in certain respects, right? Because that feminine energy is the energy of receiving. It's the energy of calling in what it is that we want. It's the energy of overflow and just being in this abundant, energetic space. And so for creative people in particular, for all people in particular, but for creative people in particular, being in this energy of creative overflow or creative abundance, whatever you want to call it, it's not about hustling harder. It's not about you working harder to try to get what you want. It's about using your creativity, your creative frequency to channel in abundance, to channel in that energy that loves money. I've worked with so many creatives and I love you all so much. And a lot of you are stuck you're stuck in this old way, this old pattern. And I am here to catapult you forward if you want to come along this ride. So one of the things energetically is overflow is not just about money. Overflow and wealth, like having a wealthy life and being fully expressed in your life, is not just about money. You know, we talk about wealth a lot in the context of having a lot of money in the bank, or being able to expand your money, being able to call in money on demand. Like that's what people think of when they think of wealth. But wealth is really about having, like, feeling good in your body, being excited and happy. You know, it's what's left over, as my friend Trey says, after the money is gone, right? It's feeling emotionally wealthy and full and turned on and tapped in to all of the things that you are here and meant to create. So in the new year, I'm going to be launching a brand new challenge. It's called Your Creative and Wealthy Year. And it's a 21-day activation that's going to help you awaken your creative frequency, tap into that life force energy and the full energy of overflow and abundance, and create a massive vision for the next years and the next 3 years, so that you have a guidepost that you're moving towards instead of limiting goals. Because what we're trying to create is limitlessness. Shoshana Raven, who's someone I've been following for a while, she talks a lot about limitlessness. It's you know, people put these parameters on themselves of what is possible for them. Maybe it's because of conditioning or how we've been raised or taught, right? But when we put the limits on, when we set a goal, you know, people feel bad if they don't hit the goal, or they you know, limit themselves by only reaching the goal, right? Well, what if goals, in a way, were kind of BS and we could actually just go for what we want? Like, set a target, right? And then just play. Like, allow the energy of making money in your business, making money with your art, feel like play and feel like a game, and step into that abundant energy. We talk a lot about this at Flourish and Thrive, about what would it be like if you just gamified the sales process in your business? Because there is this belief, and creatives struggle with abundance a lot. They struggle with making money a lot. And I'm here to change that, because they're told a story. And a lot of this is conditioned by society. A lot of this is conditioned by the way that they were raised, by their circumstances. But what if your circumstances didn't have to define you, right? What if at any given time we could shift our paradigm, or we could shift, a lot of people talk about jumping timelines, because we weren't limited or stuck in the reality of what it is that we believed, right, about ourselves. Because we've been told that real artists starve, right? We've also been told that everyone's not creative. Not everyone's creative, that some people don't have a creative bone in their body. I call BS on that. And because of that, we start to limit ourselves into what we think is possible. You know, sometimes I see creatives working through this process of really being, you know, conflicted between wanting to be ambitious and call more in, right? And also being an artist, right? What if you could have both? In fact, you know, it's really interesting. I had a really well-known jewelry influencer read my book in the beginning. I sent it to her because I wanted to do a cross promotion, see if she'd be willing to do it. I was trying to support her work and what she did. And she read the first chapter where I talk about how when you show up as a creative in business, you need to step into your chief visionary officer, put your chief visionary officer outfit on, and really operate your business from a place of being a business owner instead of being a maker, right? Even though you're an artist and a maker, business owners do things a little bit different. They lead, right? They're leading their tribe, they're leading their audience, they're leading their people, and stepping into a position where people flock to them. That kind of leadership energy, when you can learn to lead yourself in your business and lead your audience along, that's when people start to flock to you. Because you're not here out there being like, buy my piece of jewelry or buy my program or buy this thing. People are just energetically attracted to what you have to offer. And so a lot of people get stuck in this space of feeling like they're selling out if they actually sell their art, or they're too much if they want to be visible, right? And they're showing up, and it limits how much people are able to receive. It limits how much you're able to call in. It limits your beliefs, shape so much about what is possible for you. And once you start to blow through those beliefs and create limitless possibilities instead of just one potential outcome, right? And you allow for that in an energetic realm, right? Then everything starts to shift. My friend Darla Ledoux, I had her on the podcast a couple of months ago, gosh, maybe in the spring. And she posted something on Facebook the other day that talked about being in the hallway. And I know I've talked to a lot of people. I've felt like I've been in the hallway all year long. And the hallway is that space between the person you used to be and the person you are stepping into or becoming. We hear, I don't know, I feel like this is a very ChatGPT term and a very new agey term, like the person you're becoming. But at any given time, we're always evolving. So you're always becoming someone new. It's you shifting into your new identity, right? Being in between those two spaces where you can feel your identity of who you are, but then you're kind of not quite there yet because your subconscious mind draws you back. So this is what I believe to be, this identity shifting perspective is what I believe to be the internal conflict that happens with creatives who actually want to be wealthy. Because I truly believe that anyone listening to this podcast, any creative in the world, can have massive abundance and massive wealth to whatever feels comfortable for them or whatever feels aligned for them, still be a good person, still be an amazing artist, not be selling out, and also have an amazing life. Because one of the things that I like to remind people about is that there's this belief system about having a lot of money. And a lot of times we become disconnected to why someone would want to have a lot of money. And the reasons why, I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why I would like to have a lot of money or a lot more money than I already have. And the reason for that is this. Number one, I can help more people when I'm wealthy, right? I can support my family in a better way. I can take my family on a nice vacation. I can do things charitably to causes I believe in when I have more abundance and wealth. When I am fully resourced and in that energetic alignment with being a wealthy creator or a wealthy creative, guess what? I'm able to transform more people's lives. I'm able to support people on their journey of moving through their resistance and stepping into this limitless energy to build movements or art or value that literally changes the world, right? When I am fully resourced and feeling tapped in and wealthy, I am able to change the lives of family members. I am able to change the world in a variety of different ways. I'm able to change my community. Because when you are fully resourced, all of that energy of scarcity, all of that energy of hustle and scrambling, all of that chaotic energy falls away, and you can be grounded and you can lead and you can be the person that changes people's lives, or maybe just your own, right? And so I want you right now, if you're listening to this podcast and you're feeling bad about wanting to have more money, or you're conflicted with this conversation and you want to shut it off right now, I want you to continue listening because this is for you. And if you're already in the space of being like, heck yes, Tracy, I am here for it, then you're going to want to come on this ride for me for 2026 because we are putting the gas pedal down and we are freaking going for it. And I am so excited. Because when you get into that space of being in full overflow and you get into the space of energy and feeling like your cup runneth over because there's so much good happening in your life, this is really what overflow is. You will have so many more opportunities. You're going to be able to help more people. You're going to have more love in your life. You're going to have an abundance of ideas. You're going to be in that space where your cup overfloweth with everything that's good. And so here's the difference. When you are in overflow energy, I woke up this morning in freaking overflow energy and so excited. And guess what? We were closing our cart for our Cyber Weekend sale, and the sales weren't exactly as I had expected, and that's okay. But I still carried this energy of overflow because I've had those days when I was stressed because I needed to make payroll and the money wasn't coming in, or I needed to pay my rent and the money wasn't coming in a way that I expected. And guess what? When you're operating from that energy, the universe can feel it and it continues to block that abundance and overflow. And when we feel good, and when we feel aligned, and when we are excited about the work that we do, it becomes so fun. Now, I want to tell you a little story. You guys have heard me talk about my seasons of burnout. I've been in a massive season of burnout over and over again for the last couple of years. Severe season earlier this year, feeling super stressed, not sure what I wanted to do. And I had to get myself to a place like, what could I do to make running these two businesses super fun again? Like, how could I get tapped in and be excited about talking about jewelry marketing? How could I be excited about launching my brand Desire AI, which is crushing it? We're about to cross 100 users. I'm so excited, and we're scaling to thousands of users next year because we're developing an app. And I'm just beyond thrilled about what this marketing tool is doing for creative businesses. It's beyond. If you want to know more about it, reach out to me. And to be in a space of like trying to launch this personal brand that I've been creating and feeling like really tapped out at certain times. And I'm like, what would make this so fun? And I have made all the content creation, all the marketing that I'm doing, instead of having it feel like a sense of obligation, I'm creating this energy around it of, oh my gosh, how fun is it that I get to do this work that is going to serve people and potentially call in overflow and abundance for me, and to be able to teach people something new that they didn't know about, and to be able to share with them my ideas. Like, how awesome is that? And everything shifted when I did that, and it shifted very fast. And I'm having so much fun with the content we're doing on the Flourish and Thrive social media. I hope that you're over there following us if you're a jewelry business owner or selling another physical product, because we're having so much fun over there. And I'm having fun regardless of the engagement. It's just fun to be there and to be sharing these ideas with people because they're fun ideas, right? And they're ideas that really push the limits and like maybe position me as a little bit audacious and show like the fun side of me. I'm also having fun playing around with like, who am I with my personal brand? And like, what does my message stand for? And like, how do I want to position that in everything that I do? Because I felt so much resistance around sharing my message, sharing my story, sharing all of the things that I know I'm meant to be doing here. And I just got to this place. Well, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it, Tracy? Some people are going to like some of the stuff you do. Some of the stuff's going to fall flat. But this is your playground to just have fun with it, right? And explore, like, how fun is it when you first started learning your craft, right? You were excited every day instead of judging yourself for not having a piece of content that did a good job. Like, who the heck cares? And I've also noticed, like, so many people are out there, like, and how many pieces of content have you even taken a look at that you didn't engage with, but you actually got value with it? Meaning you didn't give it a heart, you didn't actually comment on it, but you read it, maybe you saved it, right? Or sent it to yourself. And you forget, like, oh, people are still watching, even if they're not engaging. So one of the things that I really want to share with you, and I'm going to share a story of Erin Candle. She's been on my podcast many, many times, from me just talking about her and also from me interviewing her. And she has been going viral and blowing up lately. She had a really sad circumstance happen earlier in the season. She was prepping for a show. She left her samples in her car. I'm not sure if it was overnight or what the deal was, but they all got stolen. And then it was like, I don't know, maybe $50,000 worth of inventory. And she's been publicly sharing this story on her Instagram. And for a young artist and someone who relies on their inventory to actually make money, this can be devastating. And the insurance company has been messing around with her and not agreeing to pay the full amount. I think they offered her like a very low amount that's not even going to come close to covering the inventory that she had. And when you lose something like that, and you're actually like, things are going great, but then like all of a sudden, like the overflow that you've had has been drained, right? How do you get back to this place of feeling in overflow and in abundance when you feel like it's being stripped from you? So the one thing that I would share with all of you, and Erin did this really well, and she publicly documented it, and she was sharing some of her behind the scenes of her life and how she built her shed. She had a couple of videos that went viral, and her account is like freaking blowing up right now. I'm so proud of her. And the thing that I want to remind you of is that she didn't bypass her emotions or her feelings. And this is the most important thing. Because I think there's this misconception about people thinking that when you get into the state of overflow and abundance, that you suppress your emotions and you're only happy all the time. That's not it. We see these people online, and it's funny because my friend Susie Moore, who has a book called Let It Be Easy, she talks a lot about this. And she said to me one time when we were at dinner, Tracy, maybe I'm just the friend that we talk about positive things to. And even someone like Susie, who is always talking about positive, always in this like slipstream of like high vibration energy, she also has like her not so great days. And I'm saying this because this is not about bypassing the negative emotions, and not everyone is designed the same way. 70%, I think, of people in human design have emotional authority. This means that you are meant to feel your emotions, and there's different waves of how you express and experience emotions. And your emotions are the things that actually guide you. So the highs and the lows. This is very important. Pushing it down, ignoring it, trying to pretend like something bad isn't happening is not going to get you in a state of overflow. It's about you moving through and processing those emotions so your body feels safe to receive. This is a really important part of the process. So when you are creating safety in your nervous system and allowing your body to feel safe with more abundance and overflow, this is where you get to play, right? This is where you see a lot of energetic coaches talking about. I mean, every single morning I'm practicing breath work. I'm listening to mind reprogramming meditations that I created for myself. Sometimes I listen to Joe Dispenza, different things to reprogram my brain, to get me into my body, to process the unprocessed trauma, anything that is holding me back and creating resistance to what it is that I actually want. And so this is a very, very important part of feeling safe in your body. A lot of times, and I've taught this for years in my communities, people talk about stating affirmations and having these positive things. And you see people on Instagram all the time, it's like, say these affirmations and you will be a millionaire overnight. And it's like, that's kind of BS, because if someone doesn't feel safe receiving millions of dollars and they're just saying affirmations like, I am a millionaire, it's not going to work, because you're in your head and not your body. And we have to remember that our systems, we have several systems that are online. We have our spiritual system, we have our body system, we have our heart system, and we have our mind, right? And then we have the ethers around us. Like all of these energetic systems work in tandem to create safety for us that allows us to step in that state of overflow and being in a space of where we can receive more. And if we're not always integrating and working on all of those systems, then we're going to be stuck saying affirmations forever that are never going to do anything, right? And this is why you hear some like naysayers saying affirmations don't work, because they don't work if you're not working on the other things too, right? It's not just about quantum jumping. And this is one of the things that I think is so ridiculous when it comes to manifestation. People talk a lot about, just jumping timelines and stuff like that. I'm sorry, guys, but you still have to do the work that is going to bring you there. But if you can do it and feel fun and have fun and play along the way and be in the state of overflow while you're doing it, isn't that better than trying to work hard and like push, like feeling into that feminine pull energy instead of trying so hard? So your nervous system has to have the capacity to receive more and feel safe accepting more, or you'll figure out any way that you can to get rid of any money that you make, right? Or you'll be one of those people who hoards their money and never spends it, invests in themselves. And neither of those, money likes to move. Money loves energy. It is designed to be circulated in the economy. And if you're hoarding it or you're spending it too fast, that's not circular. That's like incoming and outgoing, not the circular energy. So find that space of being regulated in your body so that you can actually step in and feel that energy of overflow and be open to receiving it. there are a couple of foundations of overflow that we are going to talk about today. The first one is being, I mentioned this before, but really being in energetic alignment with what it is that you want. So this is you being in a positive vibe and a positive energy, being in and operating in the identity of someone who already has what you desire. And I'm not here to go convince you to go invest in a Birkin bag if you have $2 in your bank account. Well, obviously you couldn't do it if you did, or just because that's what wealthy people do. If that's not something you value, obviously you wouldn't. And it's not necessarily about spending and investing more. It's allowing yourself to own your creative identity, owning your creative power, tapping into that creative frequency, and having those things be aligned with the energy of the person you're becoming. So here's a good example. I've talked about this a lot. I desire to be a highly paid, sought after speaker, or I am. I'm just going to say it in the first person. Highly paid, sought after speaker. I'm not making the amount of money that I would like to do it. I would like to be paid $50,000 or more per speaking engagement as I start to build out my speaking business. And I know that in order for me to get booked for stages that will pay me $50,000 for a speaking gig, I have to be someone who is presenting and delivering that amount of value to the people in the audience. So what does someone like that do? How does someone like that show up, right? And so I can now, in this moment, operate from the energy of someone who is a highly sought after and highly paid speaker who's getting paid $50,000 per speaking engagement, right? 2 engagements a month makes me a millionaire, right? A year. So what is that vibe? So I want you to play around with that energy and start owning that energetic alignment and the energy of who it is that you're stepping into, that creative frequency. Now, the next step of this is embodied wealth. This is you taking inspired action and allowing yourself to receive. So embodied wealth means you opening yourself up to be a vessel for what it is that you desire. Because if you're trying to manifest money and you're sitting on the couch eating potato chips and watching TV all the time, and you're not doing the things that are actually going to bring you the sales that you want, you're not educating yourself in a way that you learn how to market your business in a way that is actually calling in your clients, you're not embodying the energy of someone who can hold space and serve, however that is, whether it's with a physical piece of something that you make, or whether it's you in an energetic realm of being a creative that's serving the world, right? Or ruling the world, as we like to say. So taking that inspired action that moves you towards the steps. So one of the ways that I've done this is wanting to be a highly paid speaker. I'm investing in a program right now that Erin King is running. She is someone that I consider a mentor. She is one of the best speakers I've ever seen speak, and she is hosting workshops to teach women like me how she's getting highly paid as a speaker in corporate, and how she books the stages, how she lands the contracts, how she negotiates the deals, all the things. And so I'm investing in myself at a very high level because I believe so much in what she has to offer. And I know that putting skin in the game by investing in that, that's allowing me to step into my next level, right? And then finally, connecting your art and your creative frequency and your creative energy to the bigger mission, impact, and vision that you're here in this world. One of the reasons why people get stuck, and I feel like this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are underpaid, is they are not clear on what it is that they want. They are not clear on where they are going. They don't have an inspiring vision that is actually moving them forward and helping them step into this energy of taking off, right? So if you can't see and visualize and have a vision, or this is beyond a vision board, like a clear vision that you can articulate to people, then how are you ever going to achieve anything if you don't even know what it is that you want? So people talk a lot about vision boards and all that stuff. Those are great. I love them. And it's part of one of my programs, Your Year to Thrive. We have an awesome visioning exercise, and then part of that is creating a vision board around the vision. And just like a static vision board that you look at like once a year, that's not going to actually move it, right? It's you visualizing the experiences, you stepping into the vision of what it is you're creating, you feeling embodied in that experience and continuing to move forward towards that, right? So that vision is really quite important for you to get there. And all of these three pillars are the energetic alignment, the embodied wealth, and the creative frequency are all going to be dialed into my 21-day activation, which I am going to be launching in the new year, your creative and wealthy year. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about that in just a moment. So let's talk a little bit more about the path forward. Like, okay, so this is all great information, Tracy. Now, if I want to step into overflow and I want to have a limitless abundance in 2026, well, what do I want to, how do I get there? So we're shifting the paradigm. I think I mentioned this earlier, but we're moving into the year of the horse, and horses love to run. We are going to go full speed ahead towards what it is that we want. And creatives who are wealthy, grounded, and magnetic is the new paradigm for 2026. So if you're ready to step into your mission-driven vision for 2026, and you're ready to ride on this wave and this roller coaster and move forward and go fast and really become the wealthy creative that you are designed to be, and step into a little bit of woo, I would love to invite you to join me for this 21-day activation. It's called Your Creative and Wealthy Year. We're going to be tapping into your limitless energy of abundance. We're going to be awakening your creative frequency, and we're going to be creating a massive vision for where you're going over the coming year, 3 years, and beyond, because this is what it's all about. This is how you generate and create overflow in your life, in your business, and energetically get into alignment with all of the things that you desire and all of the things that you want to create. So I am so excited for you. If you'd like to join us, I'm going to have a link in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here today. It has been my pleasure. I am beyond excited. And I want to wrap this up with just a little bit of a story. When I was 15, I was an artist. And like most artists, I craved the acceptance of my peers, especially my super smart boyfriend who was a science and math geek. Now, there was this day when he walked me to my art class, and he opened the door and he said to me, "Tracy, art classes are for stupid people." And in that moment, everything that I knew or thought about myself was gutted, I guess is the best way to put it. And I looked at him and I was like a little bit surprised at what he was saying. And on the flip side of it, I realized, okay, well, I don't want to be stupid. I'm going to go take some science and math if that's what smart people are doing. So I ended up eventually dumping that boyfriend, and we went on our own ways. And the reason why I'm sharing this story is because my creativity was the one thing that helped me get through so many difficult and challenging situations in my life. In fact, it helped me get an A+ in the biology class that I signed up for the next semester after he said that to me. And he was one of those people who felt like he didn't have a creative bone in his body. And if you're that person, you probably aren't, because my podcast is called Creatives Rule the World. But for the people who say, I don't have a creative bone in my body, everyone is creative. And creativity is really our creative frequency. And I really wanted to honor my ex-boyfriend, my first boyfriend, my first love in this episode, because I found out a couple of weeks ago that he passed away. And he was only 55 years old. He's very fit and athletic, and had always been very fit and athletic throughout his life. And I'm going to keep his name private just for his family and his kids, because I don't want them to necessarily know that I'm talking about him on this podcast, because he really was a wonderful man. And he was just a teenage boy, trying to navigate. And I remember around this time last year, I was really going through a dark moment of the soul, because this flippant comment that he made to me all those years ago when I was 15 years old had this really deep impact in my life. And I feel like I had been trying to prove to people that I was smart and that I was deserving of being a wealthy creative, right? Because I am smart and creative, and both of those things do go hand in hand, right? This has been such a full circle moment, because I didn't expect to be so impacted by his death. We had reconnected about 15 years ago, and he was still married at the time. And he ended up buying a piece of jewelry. It's a long story. I'm not going to go into it here, but he ended up buying a piece of jewelry for his then wife from me. And I actually ended up meeting his wife virtually and helped her pick a piece and all the things. And, you know, it's interesting because they ended up eventually getting divorced. And on this journey, he kept wanting to like come back into my life to apologize for not being very nice to me when we were together. And, you know, I really want to honor this man. He lived a really rough life. He had he's very fit and athletic, as I mentioned. He was a surfer and a water polo player and a competitive swimmer and all of these things. But he had a lot of autoimmune diseases and that he was dealing with, even at the young age of like 15, 16, when we were together dating for our high school years. And so anyway, I just thought that one of the things that I built like this whole creative platform on is the idea that creatives can be smart and wealthy, and they are, right? It's our creativity that brings us our genius, that it really landed with this Genesis moment. So early on in my life, and now this person is gone. And so I want to honor him today and thank him for that opportunity to inspire a body of work. So thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that it was helpful. And I hope that you'll join me for my challenge because it's going to be amazing. I'm going to be announcing a brand new group that I'm going to be launching in the new year called Your Icon Era. And I'm here for it to support creatives in building iconic brands and stepping into that energy of what it truly means to be an icon in your space and to own and take up space for the badass, powerful creative that you are. So thank you for listening to this today. I'm going to have links to everything that I talked about in the show notes. If you want to get an early application for Icon Era, you certainly can. I will have a link in the show notes also to join the challenge. You can jump into that. And if you're a jewelry business owner, you also are welcome to join us for another challenge that we have that's specifically for jewelry business owners, which I will also link in the show notes. So thanks for being here today. Ciao for now. I'll see you next time.